Hello, everyone. I hope everybody is doing well. I haven't been on for a while, and so I thought I would come on and we are going to be painting a cute little whimsical house. Getting my inspiration ready. So, hang on. Go ahead. Hopefully, you can hear me, see me, and everything is quite well. Okay, so I am going to be using my Winsor and Newton Cotman, or not Cotman, but professional. And I feel like I'm out of practice, guys. I haven't recorded in forever. So bear with me, bear with me. I need a ruler. Okay, so I want to do just a little whimsical house. Hopefully, I'm not too loud. Like I said, I am really out of practice. So we're gonna do a little line, and then we're just gonna do just a very simple house today. And I think that's too big. I haven't watercolored in so long, so this is going to be a real treat for me. Hopefully, you guys have been watercoloring. And then have the roof like a little bit like so. And then kind of like so. It's almost like a triangle. I would probably use a ruler. I did not. Just kind of winging it a little bit. Mhm. So, so far, hopefully I'm not blocking the angle too much. And always sketch a lot with you guys, and this is why, because if I mess up, okay, I think that was too high. So let's do it this way. Get my triangle first, and then probably like this. Okay, that looks a bit better. Because you don't want it to be the same width as your house there. Okay, and here's the chimney. And then what I like to do is erase then that little line. And we're probably gonna possibly use some gouache or that bleed proof white of Dr. P.H. Martin's because that's my favorite. So we're gonna probably use that. So and I want a window here. And this little cottage, I wanna have it festive for winter and for Christmas. So I think we're gonna have just a little whimsical time. And then so we're gonna put a little bush here, some scraggly little bushes here, kind of like so. Sorry guys, hopefully my hand's not in the way. So, and then I like adding a pine tree. So we'll probably put a pine tree perhaps here. And then, trying to think of what else. Okay, we need a door. Then windows. One there. One here. And I want to put a wreath on the door. Kind of like so. And so now what I like to do is I can take the ruler. I was trying to avoid the ruler, but it's honestly the best way to do this. I don't mind if it's a little wonky, but I don't want it to be all the way wonky. So taking it across like so, across like so. Okay. And then we got the line here. And I'm probably going to use some either color pencil or ink and wash, using a pen. And maybe a little bit of bushes through here, a little bit through here. And I think we got her because this will be snow and then we'll have our trees. Okay. So we are going to begin with our sky, making sure everybody can hear me, see me. And for our sky, I think I want it just to be a little bit of a normal sky. So I'm going to take a little bit of this cerulean and a little bit of cobalt blue. And I want to make it a little bit darker on top. So I'm going to go ahead and get that. I should spray down. I haven't used this watercolor in so long. It is super dry. So if you haven't used something in a really long time, it's really a good idea to get them activated. And I do have one of the Gonzai Tambi, and I'm taking a little bit of ultramarine too, so I have the three colors. Okay. So I have my paper towel. And then what I want to do is take a really, really light coat of yellow ochre. So with these colors, you always wanted to go from lightest to darkest. So we're going to begin with a little bit of this yellow ochre, and it's going to be watered down. And I am using my everyday sketchbook, guys. So what I am going to do, and I am leaving this darker so you guys can see it. And we're going to start with our sky. And we're going to use wet on wet. And my washi tape, for whatever reason, does not want to stick to this paper too well. And this is the Arctics kind, so I have no idea what's going on with that, but however, okay. So I'm going to try to do this where you guys can see. So if it's not perfect, you'll understand. And I'm going to go ahead and start with my blue. And we're just going to pretend. Actually, I think I want to make this into a evening sky. So, um, we're going to go with a little bit of this. And I don't have, and then I'll take a little bit of black, but I don't have indigo on this palette. So we're going to make our own. I'm going to add just a little tiny bit of Mars Black. So, but I'm going to put a little bit of, well, I'll do that here in a bit. But okay, I'm going to go ahead and taking this because I want the windows to show a little bit of warmth. And we can make it like it's going to be a little bit of a sunset. So I'm going to go ahead and take a little bit of this yellow ochre, put it towards the bottom. Hopefully we don't look too green because I'm not washing my brush and be very well in between. Let's brighten that up a little bit. And I promise you, this is really going to lighten up. And we can go ahead and put that on the bushes and stuff. Okay. And then I am just gonna go ahead and start kind of fanning this up. And I gotta hurry because my paper is drying up. And then I am gonna go ahead and not mix it. I wanna go ahead and then put in the darker color, being mindful of the roof and everything. I am just gonna go down. And I am gonna lightly lay this color down. I'm being mindful of the house. Because I really don't want it mixing a whole lot. But down here, it's going to make the bushes anyway. But we're going to want to keep it darker on top. So taking a little bit more of that Mars Black. If you have indigo, go ahead and use your indigo. But I do not, like I said, I don't have that on this palette. So I'm making my own. But I want to make it darker on top. And if you get a little bit on the roof, that's okay. But we are not trying to do that a whole lot. And trying to get it as dark as I can and tight because I want it to be as if night's falling and we can have the warm glow of the house. Okay. And so I'm going to go ahead and I want to clean my brush. I'm going to go ahead and wipe off my spot because I want I want to put a little bit of a glow on the snow. So I'm going to go ahead and Just leaving a tiny little bit of space between up on the horizon in the snow area, and I am just dancing my brush right across. And what I am going to do is just a couple sweeps. Okay. So I just wanted to add a little bit of that. And so to the snowy area, and then we'll put some shadows in, like it's the snow, and probably a little bit of a walking path. And then, well, I have this color. I'm gonna go ahead and I want to put it into the the windows. And this is gonna add just a nice little glow. Okay, that is perfect. So right now we are gonna go ahead and just let paint dry. But if you're using washi tape like I am, so you don't want to exactly do that, but that's okay. I'm just trying to wipe my edges here so it don't run back. And we're going to put a little bit of shadow into the snow anyway, but I wanted to get the light area, and this should dry very faint. So then our next brush that we are going to be going to is a smaller one, because I like to work from larger to smallest. And so I am going to go ahead and I am using this Royal Land Nickel. It's a size 4 Menta. So you can see it here. And it has a really sharp point. I don't know if I'm trying to get to where you can see it. And that is going to be really nice for this. Now, for the roof, we are going to go ahead and have some snow on it. So what I am going to want to do is I want to put a shadow in. So to our mix here of our blue, I'm going to go ahead and take some burnt sienna, and I believe this is burnt sienna. And I am going to get a grayish type of mix. I want it like a grayish blue, kind of like this color. And you can see it's just a bit darker than our sky. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of dancing the brush around. Putting it in here. Because that's where the shadow is. And then we can go ahead and put some on here. And then we're going to have a shadow underneath here. Okay. So for our house, we're gonna go ahead and I want it to be like a reddish house. So I am gonna go ahead and take some of my cadmium red. And I am gonna go ahead and put it here, and I can mix it with a little bit of this yellow ochre and get this reddish color. And then I believe this is permanent magenta. I'm going to mix some of that too because I want it to be. So we'll have some cooler, some warmer. So you got one shade here, which is your warmer. So you guys can see it. And then we got our cooler shade here. And then we got our warmest here. Okay. So what I am going to do is I am going to like work my way. I'm going to put, I want this to be kind of in the centers. And I got some on the inside. So we'll just kind of work that out tight. Okay. And now I'm going to take this reddish color, leaving a spot out for the bushes. This is what you would call some negative painting. And we are just going to blend that right into our building. And because of watercolor is transparent, we should be able to see the shadow that we had put underneath. Let me move my arm out of the way, trying to do this where y'all can see it. And this part you kind of want to be a little bit faster so you don't get no hard edges. But if you do, you can try to work it out with a brush. A damp one where it's not overly soaked, but you have it. And we can fix some of this with gouache because we will be putting snow. And once again, you want to leave out some negative painting. Okay, now that we got everything wet, I'm going to go ahead and take some more. I believe it's alizarin crimson, to be honest. Taking some more of the alizarin crimson. And mine's permanent. And I am going to want to definitely put darker around the edges. Taking some more of this cadmium red. Because you really want the two different shades. And I'm having a little bit thicker paint. Using the side of my brush. And then, once again, I want it darker red on the outside. Okay. And up here, I'm doing a coat because it started to dry up. Because then I can add. So hopefully you're seeing what I'm doing. Okay. And then once again, I want it darker around here. Underneath. Kind of like so. And then, because I'm glutton for punishment, we're gonna do bricks. So I'm gonna try to do this. So I'm taking some of that burnt sienna. And then I am going to take some of this cadmium red. And then I'm going to mix some of it with burnt sienna, trying to get it to be like a Venetian or like a brick color. And I am just going to kind of fill this in because your brain is going to do a lot of the work. So, okay. So we got our bricks. And then I want our wreath. So I am going to take some of this sap green here. And I'm going to go ahead and make a black door. So I'm just going to take a little bit of black here in the corner. We got a little bit of black. And these are all colors that we have been using. So we're going to fill in the door. I'm not trying to block it. But I want to get this door trying to keep it out of the way so you can see what I'm doing. Okay. Now, once I got the general shape of this, and I am using a size 2 from Christy Rice. I'll tell you what, this detail brush of hers is one of the best. Highly, highly, highly recommend. Okay, and then the center of the door. So, right now we can't really do much more. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the video, and then when we come back, we will finish everything from the roof to the little details. This way, we're going to do the wreath, finish the windows, add the snow, and the trees and everything. Okay, so now that everything is completely dried, we can go ahead and finish with the details. So, I am going to take some of this bleed-proof white. What I'm going to do, but you guys, but I really, this is favorite. I'm going to move this over so I don't get my sweater in it. But I want to put a little bit of a moon. Make it a full moon because that's what is outside. I just think this works even better than gouache, unless you're using acrylic gouache. Okay. And then I am just gonna dab. I want some stars or snow, whatever. So I'm just gonna dab. That's all I'm doing. And it will show up a little bit better in the darker areas. So, like so. Okay. And I, a lot of times, will put this in the lid. You probably shouldn't, but that's what I do. One of these days, I won't be able to get the lid off. But in the meantime, so I want this to be like snow this on a ledge. So we're just gonna pick it and ooh, and then some snow under the windowsills. Because after all, it is winter. See, and that's one thing I like about doing these little whimsical paintings. You can almost make it into a story. Snow there. And then we're going to go ahead and put the snow on the roof. So I'm just kind of re-wetting what's on here. And we can leave the shadow. But make sure you don't make it too perfect because, you know, it's not really like that. And then fill in this end. Oops. But be careful, guys. I just like totally went overboard a little bit, but that's okay. So we're just gonna put it on over here. And then pretty lovely. I want to take some of this sap green, mixing a little bit of red into it. Not a lot. And I think I'm going to, ooh, I got some of this pearling green too. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that on the door. And I'm just kind of dabbing it because it's going to give it an appearance of it being a wreath, leaving a little bit of white spaces. Well, don't take very much, but it definitely just gives it that appearance. And then we want some more green in it, so we'll go ahead and put a little bit of a bush here. And then some bushes here where we left that negative space. And then just dabbing it here. Because once it dries, then we can add um, a little bit of snow on top. And that will give it a little bit more texture as well. And then I am going to take a little bit of this burnt sienna in black and a little bit of blue. Because basically I'm trying to stick with the same colors. And then now, hopefully you'll be able to see our bush. And then you can see I am just kind of dancing the brush around. Leaving some spaces, using thicker paint to making sure that it can go over top of our blue sky. And this is why too I wanted it to be a little bit lighter. But I'm just basically taking the brush and then just kind of dabbing it. And then behind here, just trying to be really mindful, trying to put the green behind that, but on this side, not. So, Okay. So there we go. We got our little pine tree. We got our little house. I'm going to go ahead and make this a little bit darker going in front of that. So, got all that. And then now moving on to the front, I want to add a little bit of the blue for the snow. So I'm really going to water down a little blue. And then what I am going to do put in a little bit in. And it's going to look a little messy here. But it's going to get the appearance of snow here in a second. Some of that PH Martin's white, who like, and just kind of lightly just spreading it over top of the shadows and the color, kind of going at a little bit of an angle. So it's kind of coming like in to a certain degree. And I really love how that looks. The only thing I think it needs just a little bit more. I'll see if I can do it here. I'm just kind of lightly doing this. And then I want to add to the pine tree. Just kind of dabbing the brush across. Now, very carefully, I'm going to add some of the white to the branches. There. And then I need to add a little bit of snow to the top of the bushes. And then top of this bush here. And this one, I had to pick up a little bit more paint. And then over here. Okay, kind of like so. It's not perfect, but it's okay. Just kind of dabbing it. And then, you can always put a little bit more green. Same thing here. Okay. So I really am loving how this is looking. Let me rinse my brush. I don't think we're gonna do any ink and wash. I think I like how this is turning out. Put a little bit of shadow behind here. And then what you do is just then bit of a shadow. How that looks, but that's too much shadow. So I'll go back over with a little bit of white and blend in that. Okay. So I really like how this turned out. If you like what you see, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't. And hopefully, here in a couple days, I will be definitely trying to film a lot more. I need to get back in the routine of it all. So I'm going to go ahead and move my mess out of the way. And like I said, if you stay to the end, you guys, you are truly a superstar. So now it's time for the big reveal. Me move the webcam down, get everything in focus. And if you guys are ready, we will give it the final reveal. Over to this side. So thanks, guys. It was a lot of fun. I hope you truly enjoyed it. And God bless. And if I don't see you before then, you guys have a wonderful Merry Christmas. Bye, everyone.